Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back. So, I was thinking about thinking big today. A lot of super successful people tell you to think big. If you're thinking, you might as well think big. I think that was a quote, I think attributed to Donald Trump, but I don't know if it's his saying or he took it from someplace else. But here's my thoughts on this, and everything I say is always through my experience. I will never tell you anything that I haven't experienced before or haven't proven to myself. Your result may vary, but I'm talking from my experience. So it's not so much about thinking big, because to actually achieve what you want to achieve, you will have to think big and you will have to think small, very, very small. You will have to think about the details that will have to be made right to get you to your goal. So this saying, thinking big, is not really an accurate description, because you will have to think in all sorts of ways: big, medium, small, tiny. You will have to think everything, because if you have a big goal, you will have to chop it up to smaller bites, and then you will have to chop it up to days, what you have to do every day to reach your goal, the amount of action you need to take each day to reach your goal in certain amount of time, and that also then chops into hours and minutes and stuff like that. So you will have to, if you have a big goal, you will have to think small and very tiny, not just thinking big. This saying, thinking big, I think is wrong, and I think people might interpret it the wrong way, to just think big. No, you will have to think everything, not just big. You will have to think in small amounts, and you have to think big. The right expression would be aim big. Aim big. Have big aims. Have big goals. That would be the right expression. Aim big, not think big. So if you are thinking, you might as well think big. Again, you will have to think in all sorts of sizes. So this saying from Trump doesn't really make much sense to me, and it's not even proper English, to be honest. It doesn't describe the right thing. I think the right thing would be, if you're going to be aiming at something, you might as well aim big. See, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. But thinking, you have to think every day. Little stuff, small stuff, big stuff, whatever. So that would be the right thing to do. And yeah, I wholly support aiming big. Not just aiming big, aiming humongous, aiming large. Like humongously large, just colossal. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. It's enough of that. Yeah, so aim big, and I wholeheartedly support that, because there's a natural law in this world and in this universe, which means when you expend energy, you will expend energy whatever you do. You expend energy even when you sleep. So even if you do the minimum, like the whole total minimum you will expend energy. So in the case of running a business, if you run a business that has a ceiling of earning, let's say $5 million a year, the market is small, and you know, it's tough for you to actually expand the market or to shift to a similar market that is bigger. Let's say you are in this market that you can only, you know, you can expend as much energy as you want, you can hire as many people as you want. If you had unlimited resources too, not resources, but if you had unlimited possibilities to employ as many people, to market as much as you can, and to sell as much as you can, you could not physically, you could not sell more than 5 million a year in this market, because it's a small market. So you expending energy in this market means that you can only earn $5 million a year. But if you expended the same amount of energy, the same, not more, not less, the same amount of energy in a market that is bigger and more responsive, let's say, you could earn 100 million, let's say, that would be tops. Or you can earn $1 billion. Let's say you can earn $1 billion in another market, expanding the same amount of energy that you're doing right now in the 5 million market. So what would make more sense? Some people would say, well, but that's not true, because you might enjoy the 5 million market, but you might hate the 1 billion market. Well, you know, that could be for some people, but I've noticed for most people, when they start making good money, they start to love it. They start to enjoy what they're doing when they start making a lot more money than the energy that they're putting in. Okay? So, because you just feel like you're cheating life. You feel like you're cheating life. Look, I'm not even expending that much energy, and the money is just piling on. Money is just flowing in. Which means people start enjoying it. It's like cheating, you know, nature. Almost, you know. You get the feeling, oh, I feel like almost semi-God, you know. I'm sort of cheating nature, you know. Feels like almost cheating, you know. So people start enjoying that. Most people. Some people, you know, they're outliers, and some people would enjoy the 5 million market more than the 1 billion one. But it's rare. It's not something that is widespread. It's rare. So if you're going to be expending energy, you might expend energy on something that will provide the most reward for you. That is the whole point of this. That's the whole point. Aim big. And as they say, even if you miss that goal that is a big goal, you will probably achieve something. You know, you might achieve half, you might achieve only 1/3, but it doesn't matter. If the goal is huge, and I don't even mean just in terms of money, I mean in terms of everything, in terms of life. If a goal is huge, you will probably achieve some semblance of success in that huge goal. And what you will achieve, let's say, you know, in terms of money, let's say, if you're aiming for $1 billion, then you might achieve 100 million. You know, you're set for life. You're set for a few generations for life, you know. Depends on the country you live in, but, you know, of course, but 100 million will get you quite far, you know. So, and you will expend the same amount of energy that you would expend, you know, trying to earn 5 million a year, and you will have no prospects of earning more. So it would take you 20 years to get to 100. and that you were able to do in a few years in the other industry. So I agree with that sentiment. If you're going to be aiming at something, you might as well aim big. I think that would be a better saying. And you know, humans have evolved to conserve energy, which means that you will expend as little energy as you possibly can to achieve something. Let's say you go out hunting, and you will try to expend the least energy for the most calorie dense food that you can get. You know, so instead of hunting little small rabbits and little small, you know, small animals, you will hunt bigger ones. You know, like in the jungle, let's say certain South American tribes, you know, they go into the jungle and they spear and they hunt for other primates, for monkeys, you know, and even apes. And if that's not available, they go even for bigger game, you know, buffalo and all that stuff, you know. So humans have evolved obviously because you want to expand the least energy as you can to get to the goal, to get to the food, to get to the reward. Because the more energy you spend, the more likely it is that you will die. Because, you know, the food that you eat is nothing more than energy. It gives you energy to go on for the next day, you know, or for the next week or whatever. It depends how much food you had in your stomach and how much is going to last you, you know, the energy that you eat. So food is nothing more than energy. And the least energy that you can expend, the energy that you already have in your body, the least energy you expend and the more energy that you take in, the better you will be, the better setup you will be for the future. The more likelihood you will have to survive, you know, into the future. And that means if you survive long enough into the future, you will be able to procreate, which means you will be able to make copies of yourself and your genes will go on. And that's the whole point of life. That is the whole point of anything that is living, to pass on the genes. And all this stuff that, all this fight and all this effort that we put into life to live is basically just to do that. Once you've done that, you know, nature doesn't really have any use for you. You know, other people or other beings or anything like that might have use for you, but nature as a whole doesn't have really any use for you anymore once your genes have gone on. You know, it sounds harsh, but you know, nature is not fluffy, you know. Nature is just the survival of the fittest, you know. Nature is just, it is what it is, you know. It is, you know. Nature just is. It's not horrible or evil, but you know, from our perspective that of human rights and, you know, obviously we want to treat other people like we would want to be treated. So the golden rule applies, you know, in most Western societies and in most other societies as well, more and more. So, but you know, that golden rule doesn't really apply in raw nature as such, because you know, nature is just whoever is strongest, whoever is the most wily, whoever is better equipped to survive, and that means whoever is better at, you know, expending the least energy and taking in the most energy will be better at surviving than some other organism that doesn't do that. I will go to the other side. there are dogs on both sides here, and whatever side I take, there's always going to be a dog snapping even at my heels here on the right side. They have a crazy dog here on the right side. So I usually go in the middle of the road just to prevent dogs attacking. But you know, that's how it is here. In these European countries, you know, a lot of people have dogs, you know, around the house for protection. Maybe they haven't heard of, they haven't heard about house alarms, I guess, you know. So everybody's got a dog, and they just bark at everything that comes by. And again, as a Middle Eastern man, I don't really like dogs, so I try to avoid their barking and snipping at my heels as much as I can, because you know, it's not gonna be pretty if a dog attacks me, you know. You can be sure that the dog will be either dead or severely injured if the dog attacks me, and I don't want to go to court and, you know, defend myself. Oh, you've killed the dog and blah blah blah. You know, who cares? I'm not. So I try to, you know, avoid them as much as I can. You know, they're friendly to the owner, but they teach them to bark on everything. So because they're sort of guard dogs. I mean, it's just very medieval, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah. So the point of all this was aim big, you know, in life. If you're going to be aiming at something, might as well aim at something totally large and humongous. Because I've seen a lot of people that aim quite low in life and they don't even reach that. They reach somewhere even lower than that, and you know, it's sort of a I don't know how to say it properly, but it's sort of a low-end existence, you know. It's not very fulfilling. It could be lower stress, but if you're the kind of person that wants to, that has big aspirations in life, that sort of life will not be in any way good for you. You know, because a person that has high aspirations in life will be absolutely miserable, not trying, at least trying to fulfill those aspirations. And if you're living a life of you know, low goals and low aspirations, and you're not that sort of person, it's very, very, very miserable for a person like that. You know, some people don't have high aspirations. They just want to be happy in the moment, which, you know, is totally legitimate. I have nothing against people like that, because, you know, if you don't have high aspirations, you just want to be happy in the moment, and you just want to live life, you know, on the easy setting, and you're made like that, then that's great. You know, it's perfect for you. So you will enjoy life and you will be happy. You know, most of the time you will be content. You know, even if you have certain problems in life, and for a time being you're unhappy, you know, overall you will be content. But for people that have high aspirations, you know, they have to go for it. They have to try. They have to try to make those aspirations reality. Otherwise, they're miserable. They are stressed because they are going after their goals. And I mean, I can tell you in my experience, we are stressed either way. If we go for our goals, you know, we get constant rejection, and we get constant problems, and stuff comes in our way that we have to deal with. So it's constant stress, and dealing with people is constant stress, and dealing with the difficult situations is constant stress. But if we choose the monk life, let's say, if I went into a monastery and just forget about outside life and just live that life in contemplation and in whatever, you know, obviously I wouldn't go for a monk life because I'm not of that religion. But you know, let's say you were living a quiet contemplative life and just, you know, disconnected from the outside world, and no goals, just goals of very sparse living, and, you know, just living in your head basically, then you would have to be the sort of person who can do that, and you were born to do that. You know, me doing that, I would go insane, because I would constantly have at the back of my mind, God damn, well, what about 10, 15 years from now? You'll be still here, you know, a loser in this whatever monastery, let's say. This is hypothetical. And you're doing nothing. You're just basically passing time. You're wasting your time, and you just the time is passing. You're getting older, and you haven't done anything. You know, there was no progress actual. There was no actual progress. Oh yes, but you had progress in your mind. You became more enlightened. This is all crap. You know, for me, for a certain type of person that wants to do that, and is his character is made to do that, great. He will find fulfillment for that. So you see, it's all about character. It's all about that, you know. You can change your character a little bit. You can tweak it. But it's pretty much what you like, what you don't like, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, you know, is pretty much set, you know. Of course, certain tastes can be acquired, but, you know, not many, you know. So if you're that sort of person that would enjoy that sort of life, then go for it. There is nothing I would say that you're living wrong. But if you're not that sort of person, if you have aspirations, if you have certain things that you want to achieve in life, then you should go for it. You know, just think of life as a little game, like a game that you play on the internet, on your computer, like a computer game, video game. Just think of it as a video game, you know. You're trying to get to the next level, and then to the next level, and then to the next level, and you're just trying, and you're learning as you go. It's just a game. You know, if you take it as that, it's not gonna diminish your life in any way if you take life as a game, because when you die, you die. You're not gonna feel anything after that. So it doesn't matter that, you know, you took life as a game, because, you know, in certain thing it is. Don't take it so seriously. You know, if you get a very bad illness, you know, it's very bad, but, you know, everybody dies. Everybody dies. So you will just die, you know, a decade or two earlier if you're gonna die. But you might pull through. You never know. You know, even the worst illnesses in the world, you know, can go into remission. You know, and nowadays, you know, there's a lot of illnesses that you can cure, but there's also a lot of illnesses that you can't. And unfortunately, that's how it is. Hopefully, in the future, we'll be able to cure many more. But the problem is, you know, a lot of medicine is concentrated on not on the cure, but on just suppressing the symptoms, because the symptoms is what, you know, you notice. but there's an underlying issue underneath. And a lot of the times they don't treat that because that's, it is what it is. And sometimes, the body heals on itself and the underlying issue gets resolved, and sometimes it doesn't. And you die, and we're all gonna die. If you get a bad disease, just take it as a game. I mean, your survivability will not be any better if you take it as a game or if you take it as something extremely horrible. Because if you take it something as extremely horrible, you will get stressed and nervous and all sorts of worried. You will basically go mad, because you will be so afraid of dying. And that stress and all the underlying things that go with stress will diminish your immune system when you need it the most. You need your immune system the most when you have a bad illness. And if you stress yourself to the point of exhaustion, it's not going to help you, fighting that disease. It's going to be worse. So when they say that certain people have better chances of survival when they're more positive, it's true. And what they do is they take the illness and they take the life as a game, and they try to figure out how to beat the odds, how to win the game. And the ones that in a lot of times succumb is the ones that are the most stressed, the ones that are the most worried, the ones that are the most scared of the result that might come, which is death. And it doesn't help their immune system at all. So if you take life as a game, you just try to progress, and you just try to win the game, and you learn as you go, and that's what you do. And if you lose, well, it is what it is. You lose. If it comes to a bad illness, then that's it. You're done. But if it comes to any other thing in life, you just start the game over again. And then you learn something, and you will not do the same mistakes again. Just think of it as a video game. When you play a video game and you lose, you get killed or you fall into whatever, I don't play video games, but when I did, I know how it was. And that's it. When you lose, you just reset and you start again. And then you've learned from the previous times that you played, and you try to do it differently, and you try to win. That's all life is. It's just a game. It's just a game. Try to enjoy the game as you're playing it. Try to enjoy it. And I think you will enjoy it. You will enjoy life, and you will enjoy the game of life more if you take it as a game, because it doesn't sound so serious then. So I hope this was helpful. I was meandering a little bit now to the end, and hope this was helpful again. See you next time. Cheers.